One of the best ways to visualize how a count into a song is supposed to operate is to envision an old school turntable. Now, how a turntable operates is you place a vinyl record on the turntable, then you hit start so it starts to spin, and after it's spinning, you put the needle down. This is so that when you put the needle down, the turntable is already spinning and the music starts right at tempo. But if you happen to put the needle down on the vinyl record before the turntable is spinning, when you hit play, you're actually going to have this experience where all of a sudden the record goes from no speed and then moves up to the normal speed of playback. The key is to spend some time and prepare ourselves to enter in on the beat. When I or anyone else starts counting off for a count in, my mind immediately wants to go to the groove of the song. And I talk a lot when teaching rhythm about the lowest common denominator, meaning the fastest subdivision that we're going to use on average for a song. Some songs are eighth note based, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the feel of the song. So in my mind, as soon as somebody starts counting off, even before the song starts, going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 or alternatively, I'm imagining the rhythm part if I'm playing rhythm guitar, the drum groove, bass groove. I'm trying to hear what that first measure sounds like before I play it. If the drum beat was dun, ch, dun, dun, ch, as soon as somebody goes 1, ch, dun, dun, ch, then I come in. This is the equivalent of the turntable spinning and us putting the needle down. I do that with all my parts if I'm coming in at the top of the song. I want to start imagining it and think about it. Alternatively, we could have 16th notes. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and I want to get my mind acclimated to the feel of those 16th notes before we drop in. I don't want to be trying to adjust to it once the downbeat drops of the song. Beyond this, though, we start getting into the world of feel, and this is where it starts to get even a little bit more complex because obviously we've got swing feels, we have straight feels, and there's a lot of gradients in between them. It's not just as simple as saying it's swung or straight. In order to really be able to grab a song, we have to get into the mindset of the swing or the feel. And this is what people are referring to as feel. It has to do with the gradient of swing or how straight a song is. We want to be in the mindset of that swing feel before the downbeat drops. So when we hit the downbeat, it's a pretty smooth transition into it. I've seen people that struggle with this and they have a really hard time in that first measure once the downbeat drops. Their tempo will jump around a little bit. They will have a hard time negotiating the 16th or 8th note feel for about a measure or a couple of measures until they settle in. I've seen this happen on stage. I've seen it happen in the studio. I've also seen where people just counted 1, 2, 3, 4 and the song lands at 1, 2, 3, 4 because they think it's just a pretty much like a stage maneuver to be able to count in a song. And that is not what it's for. It's really there to be an effective way to be able to link everybody together, for everybody to take a moment to almost like ground themselves, to meditate on what the groove is going to be. I used to struggle with this a lot while recording because you're often doing punch-ins, so you'll be playing a section and you need to do a section again and you get like 1 or 2 measures for you to drop in and you're essentially always being like shocked because you're not really settling into the song so much when you're doing punch-ins. You have to have a system so that when you're working with those punch-ins that you can get back into the mindset of the song pretty seamlessly by making sure that as soon as the playhead hits and you give yourself at least 1 or even 2 measures if you're recording. I think 2 measures is kind of like the golden number, a measure to just kind of like, okay, here it goes, and then 1 more measure to get yourself into the mindset of the groove and the tempo, and then drop in. I always consistently do this. I find it's important with punch-ins to always have a uniform way of doing it. Some people I've seen, they'll give me a bar, give me 2 bars, give me 3 bars. They keep kind of changing things. Unless it's a special circumstance, I will always keep my punch-in intro to 2 measures. That way, psychologically, I know what to expect. It's something I'm familiar with at this point, so there's a level of predictability with it, which also helps set you up in those situations. There's a term called audiation, which means that you're imagining music in your head. During the count-in, I'm audiating the song. I don't just want to be rigidly counting in. I want to imagine what the song sounds like before it plays. Imagine that you get a sneak peek to the song before everybody else hears it. If you start hearing it in your head before everybody else does, when it drops in, you're going to have a lot more of a success rate locking into the song because you're already in it. You're not landing on it on the first beat of the song. You've already been playing the song. Again, this relates to the turntable spinning and you putting the needle down. It's honestly one of the most essential skills you can have for playing music live or recording in a session, but a lot of people don't talk about it, and it seems to be an unsung hero in the skill department for musicians. Another mistake I see people make when counting in is that they're playing or they're noodling or they're doing things, their other tasks, taking a drink or distracted. Make sure that when that count off goes on, that you're not doing anything else. No noodling, no playing, just concentration. It's all mental, right, at that point. You have to be mentally in the game in order to be able to make a smooth transition into the downbeat of the song. So avoid tinkering or noodling. And I know us guitarists are notorious for noodling a lot, but make sure that when that count in hits, that you're fully in it mentally. You'll make fewer physical mistakes this way too, because you're aligning your mind and body to the song so that when the song plays, you're together. If you're engaging in too many activities during the count-in, noodling, tuning, turning a page, any of that, you're actually distracting from being focused and locked in on the song. And you're going to find that 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to be as locked as you would like to be with the song. And this even goes for songs you've been playing a long time. Of course, you get more comfortable with songs over time about how to come in, what to play when you come in, but locking the groove when you come in is something that you always have to be mindful of. I really learned this when I was on tour and playing with a lot of really amazing musicians. We'd often play these festivals with very little setup time, large festivals, and you basically get a line check and it's go time, sometimes immediately right after the line check, and you're trying to check everything, and all of a sudden everybody's like, okay, let's go, we're live. And you have to jump into it. At that point, I really learned the importance of being in it, right? Being immersed in the experience and not being distracted by if I didn't get my sounds completely locked in. I know I could do that over time, but I knew that I had to lock the song because that first note coming out was going to leave an impression on the audience. So if I got that first riff out, that first downbeat out, I knew it was going to be good because I can get in and tweak a few things as we go, but I always made sure, no matter what chaos is going on, with the exception of not getting any sound, to make sure that I take that second and unlock with everybody and we all come together and we drop at the same time. The key with music is to not be surprised by anything. Improvisation is making parts up in the moment, but it's not strictly accidental. Right? There's a process that's going on in your mind and on a journey that you're traveling along, and there's a storyline. You're creating the storyline, but you're not really a bystander. You're actually creating the story, and I think that is a good point because I think sometimes people just stand back and think that when they're improvising or the count-in happens that it's going to happen on its own or that it's another musician's responsibility. But it's really not. You know, when you're improvising, you are actually trying to translate whatever you're feeling, hearing, imagining in your mind to the instrument. And that is very much what a count-in is, right? We want to imagine it in our mind and then translate that immediately to our fingers so that we could jump into a song. Let's discuss how to practice this. I like to use a metronome, and I'll just count in songs. Give yourself one measure, because that's usually what people give you. Sometimes even less, and that's a little bit more challenging. But ideally, you make eye contact with whoever's counting off the song, they make it clear, and then you get 4 beats to get yourself settled. I'll set the metronome, and I'll just count off a song. So right now I'm using the Tempo app on my iPhone. I'm just going to set 70 BPM. 2, 3, 4. And I would just come in with the song, right? I'm not trying to give myself too much time to get comfortable with it because a lot of times, I wouldn't say you're surprised, but it comes pretty quick and you're on stage. So I'll just hit the play button. 2, And if I'm not landing properly when that downbeat hits, I know that I didn't secure myself enough. Let's do it again. That was locked, right? Let's do eighth notes. Right? So there we are, we're locked. You should do this with different tempos. In fact, let's jump it up to maybe 90. Okay, here comes. 1, 2, right? I'm locked in, right? Let's take it up to 110. Let's do 16th notes. Oh, wow. So I was surprised by that one, right? So that exposed an issue, and that issue is that I didn't even think about the tempo before the song came in, the count in. You also want to take some time to imagine what the song sounds like so you're not completely surprised by the tempo. So even before the count in starts, I become aware of what the song sounds like. Then I wait for the count in because I may be off by a few BPM, but at least I'm in the ballpark. Right, there it is, right? And you'll see I had much better success that time because I heard the song in my head before the click track came in and was able to lock to it. So I'm going to jump it up to a much faster tempo now. Let's do 130, and then I'm just going to try to imagine what 130 is or what the song sounds like before I even play it. I locked it, right? I didn't listen to the metronome before I played it. Being mentally prepared makes all the difference when you're dropping into a song. It prevents you from being early or late on the downbeat, which is a common symptom amongst musicians, as well as just getting a better feel for the song. I also find that a lot of musicians struggle not with beat 1 but beat 2. So they'll land beat 1, but then beat 2 tends to be a little late because they haven't settled into the groove yet. If you take the time to do the two-step process of imagine what the song sounds like, then as soon as whoever starts counting it off, you start living in the subdivisions, the downbeat drops, and then you'll not have any issues with beat 1 or beat 2. If you're finding this video useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave comments if you have any point of views about playing with a metronome or doing count-ins. You can check my webpage out at anatomyoftone.com. Till next time.